Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. Today's exciting elbow, part one, 2 parts on this one. And we've got some great exercises and solutions to a lot of the problems that people are suffering from. Now, the 3 major ignored aspects of any type of elbow injury, and I'm talking golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, any type of elbow injury. Neurogenic, so compromised nerve supply in the cervical spine. That's number one. A lot of people don't correct the curve in the cervical spine. Vascular, if the head's forward, you're compromising, literally choking off the blood supply to that arm. And mechanical distortions of the thoracic area, as well as mechanical distortions of the elbow. Now, when we look at the nerve supply, all the nerves that supply that upper extremity, elbow, wrist, everything come from the neck. This is why they used to call all shoulder injuries, all elbow injuries, all wrist injuries, double crush injury, beginning in the neck, leading to a muscle imbalance or dysfunction. So you have got to look at the health of the neck. Now, one of the coolest things is one of the most brilliant doctors that taught me, Dr. Jacobson, said that when confronted with an issue on patients, you have to do 2 things. One, you've got to ask them what the problem is. And 2, you've got to listen. So ask and listen. Now, the nerves that come out of the neck, that come out and supply the thumb and finger, that's about the 6th cervical nerve. The one in the middle finger is the 7th, and the smaller ring finger and pinky finger, or auricularis and annulus, okay, those are coming from C8, or the 8th cervical nerve root. I mean, brilliant. And so if the nerve root is compromised, that means that disc in the cervical spine is compromised. You're going to get that symptom along that nerve root pathway. And this is called dermatome or dermatomal pathway, which is an area of skin supplied by a specific nerve root. Now, discs are alive. And if there is movement of the joint, the disc can regenerate. So that allows you, because discs, I work on herniated discs all the time, and they can be regenerated. Now, you cannot fix an upper extremity, elbow, shoulder, or wrist issue unless you correct the forward head carriage. And this is huge. There's going to be loss of curve, reverse curve, damage. There could also be thoracic subluxations or deviations. Also, lumbar spine, loss of lumbar curve can throw the entire torso forward. This is why when you're looking at elbow, shoulder, or wrist injuries, we're looking at the pelvis. We're looking at the lumbar, because all of this can be contributing factors. Now, when you look at the elbow, look at it in 2 different ways. Your elbow has a hinge that opens and closes, and that's the ulnar. Then it pivots or turns, and that's the radius. And you'll see when you're looking at the head of the radius, there's a bump right next to that, and that's where the biceps tendon attaches. So it turns and lifts. It's just such a brilliant structure, but you got to look at the 2 different aspects. One of the bones is a hinge, the other rotates and pivots. And when we look at the medial and lateral epicondyle, medial is the condyle on the inside. That's where all the flexors attach. The lateral epicondyle is where the extensors, or what moves the hand in extension. Now, when you're looking at the muscles of the forearm, you have muscles that close the hand. Those are called flexors. Muscles that open the hand, those are called extensors. And the strength ratio of closing to opening should be 5-4. That means flexors are almost as strong as the extensors. Now, this is tough because when you look at modern society, modern people are using the flexors. They're grabbing the keyboard, grabbing their backpack, grabbing their suitcase, but they're not making fishing nets anymore. So that creates a muscle imbalance. Now, when you look at the deep or the different layers of muscle, superficial means muscles on the surface. Middle layer, okay, and these are going to be more towards the proximal digits, and deep and distal. Distal means further away. This is the way we always used to say it, like flexor digitorum profundus. Profundus means deep and distal. That's where they go. The distal ones are from the deep muscles, then you got the middle, then you got the superficial. So a lot of different layers there, but it's absolutely fantastic. When you're looking at this close up, look on the superficial side, all of those muscles that flex the hand extend off of that medial epicondyle. The lateral epicondyle is, or the lateral distance is where the extensors work. They also attach on the middle of the forearm. But this, all those flexors, everything that you're grabbing could be kicking that ulnar off to the medial aspect. Now, when you're looking at extensor muscles, okay, and now you can see the extensors go out and where are they hooked up to? The lateral epicondyle, okay, and these are the extensors. When we look here, a muscle imbalance, and this is, sedentary lifestyle, obviously heads forward, you're looking at a computer screen, so there's going to be a cervical spine issue. But we've got to get those extensors back because that muscle imbalance, remember, first you've got a cervical spine problem, either forward head carriage or loss of curve, compromising the nerve. And then that develops a muscle imbalance. And this is all sorts of problems with carpal tunnel syndrome. We're going to get into that with golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, super, super common. And in this, if those joints are misaligned, that's going to cause that cartilage, it's going to cause the joint capsules, all the structures in there to be used in a different fashion than they're designed. And this will create inflammation. And the bummer part is when you have inflammation, instead of correcting the muscle imbalance and instead of correcting the cervical spine, they're going to put ice on it, which wouldn't recommend at all. That's why this is a 2-part series. So here's a quick solution to restore the muscle balance. Remember, you've got 5 to 4, the flexors versus extensors. Now, you want to place a rubber band around, and this is a number 32 rubber band, also hair ties. Yeah, how do we know about hair ties? I've got 3 sisters, mom, and a wife. They're all using hair ties. So yeah, you can use those. Now, you put it around the further aspect, and it looks kind of like a flower bud. Then you're going to make it into a claw. And this is what it looks like. So flower bud to claw, flower bud to claw. Now, when you do this, the finger should be coming out like a bicycle. What you'll see in people with shoulder injuries is the small pinky won't be extending out. So this is the best they'll be able to do, something like this. So flower bud to claw. And this is just with a simple rubber band. Your neck position is vital. You don't want to be working like this. You want to have your chin up and work those extensors, restoring that nerve supply and blood supply to that area. Now, you've got to do this because when you're going flower bud to claw, some people's hands are small and the rubber band may fall off and they may not know to keep their hand open a little bit to maintain the integrity of the rubber band. So a little trick is you can make a loop around the pinky, and so this way it'll hold it on. So you can do that flower bud to claw. And so when you're doing this, you want to perform it to fatigue. You want to do it, keep doing it, okay? And that's why I always give about 8 or 10 rubber bands to everyone. I warn them to only use one, unless they've got huge forearms. Then I'll say use 2 rubber bands, but you're not going to use a whole bunch of them. And you've got to repeat this several times throughout the day. But also, before I give this exercise, I've already done an x-ray of their neck. I've already given neck curve exercises. So I say, do the neck curve exercise before you do this exercise and afterwards. Now, this is absolutely fantastic for people that are office workers. They're grabbing things. You've got to restore that muscle balance. Now, once you've restored that muscle balance, once you've corrected that curve, then that is going to help correct golfer's elbow, tennis elbows, everything. In future videos, I'm going to show you how to adjust it, how to do all the different work on it. But this is just the start. That little rubber band exercise is going to make you impervious. And any exercises that are involved in flexing, like tennis or golf or anything, wrestling, MMA, I mean, all of these. I've had tons of professional MMA fighters that their grip strength was starting to weaken And that's because the flexors kick that ulnar over to the medial aspect. You work the extensors, change the position of those or the joints, restore the cervical spine, then you restore full strength. So what are the keys? Proper nerve supply. Can you see how you need good nerve supply to fix the elbow? Regular exercise. This is just start of it. You've got to get that cervical curve. Proper nutrition. Why? Inflammation is how the body regenerates. So you got to get the raw materials. So your diet should look like your great-great-grandparents. Organic, seasonal, healthy, varied, you're set. Sufficient rest. This is when the body regenerates, and prayer and meditation. Now, make sure you post your questions down below, and we'll get to them within usually the first week to 2 weeks. And we're gathering as many questions as we can in a short period of time. And now we're going to dividing the questions up into stuff I can answer on standard social media, and then the version will be put on our Dr. BVIP site. God bless you all. Stay healthy, my friends, and know your body is made in the image and likeness of God.